So starting with non-polar compounds, we have the water molecule first and foremost. Okay. Now water has one oxygen molecule. Now oxygen will have two, and then it has six of electrons. Then comes hydrogen, okay, which has only one electron. Okay, hydrogen has only one electron. In that case, okay, now what happens is when they combine, when these, I'll put a plus sign here, when they combine, oxygen which was having this is 6 in oxygen and in hydrogen 1. Okay, hydrogen has 1 electron. Hydrogen wanted to complete its duplet, so it shared 1 in a single covalent bond with oxygen. Okay, it is sharing 1 of its electron just to get 2 because it wants 2 in the outermost orbit. And here oxygen is having 6 in the outermost orbit. So now what happens here is oxygen got its octet and hydrogen got its duplet. But the problem here is hydrogen could not, the problem is oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen. So what it does is it pulls the shared pair of electrons more towards itself. So oxygen gets a partial negative charge and hydrogen gets partial positive charge. So this becomes a polar compound. So the pair of electrons are pulled more towards oxygen, though they are going for a single covalent bond and they should have shared. Okay, so this is pulled more towards oxygen. So partial positive charge for hydrogen, partial negative charge for oxygen. This is a polar compound. Okay, so after HCl, after hydrogen chloride, this is the next polar compound that we did. We are going to do more polar compounds now. Ammonia, okay, ammonia. Now let's see how ammonia is polar. Now in the outermost orbit for nitrogen there are 5 electrons. Okay, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, hydrogen, here hydrogen, here hydrogen. Okay, it shares and this shares, and then this is nitrogen. Okay, now here too, because hydrogen is more electropositive and nitrogen is more electronegative, so the shared pair of electrons move more towards nitrogen. Okay, they are more towards nitrogen and less towards hydrogen. So they are not right at the center. Nitrogen gets a partial negative charge and hydrogen gets partial positive charge. So this is again a polar compound. Now here there is a very important thing, that is, you see this pair of electrons. Okay, this is called a lone pair. Very important. What is a lone pair? Okay, later on this lone pair, as we proceed with the video, this lone pair will have a very important role to play. So the lone pair is that pair of electrons which is not involved in any bonding, any sharing, anything. Okay, so this is called the lone pair of electrons. We get one lone pair in ammonia. Now we are going to do another type of covalent bond. Okay, very important, the coordinate covalent bond. Okay, till now we did polar covalent bond. Now this is the coordinate covalent bond. Let's see what it is. Now we'll go back to the water molecule. Okay, we'll go back to the water, H2O. Okay, so oxygen having 6 in the outermost orbit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And here comes the hydrogen. Okay, so this is our H2O. You can see this is water. Now what happens if one H plus ion comes to this? What is the meaning of H plus? First we have to understand. Hydrogen had one electron, and that it has donated, and that is what made it H plus. Okay, so it does not have any electron, it just has a proton, and that is why it is that this positive charge. Now what happens if one H plus ion comes close to this? Okay, and it wants to bond with this. Now this H plus, though it does not have even one electron, it wants two electrons. Okay, so it wants two electrons to come to stability. Now in water there are two lone pairs. You see, there are two lone pairs. In ammonia we saw one. There are two lone pairs in water. Now what happens is oxygen here, this is our water molecule. Okay, no changes in this, and now this hydrogen ion comes and sticks here, means it uses both the electrons of oxygen only, does not give any electron. Till now we had seen whenever there was electron covalent bond, electrons were shared from both sides. Okay, electrons came from both sides. Okay, so this hydrogen comes and sticks to this lone pair and uses this for its own duplet formation. Okay, so now what we get is H3O, but then this becomes a charged one. Why is it charged? Okay, let us see why it is charged. Now regarding the charge part of this, what happens is water was neutral. Okay, number of protons was equal to the number of electrons, so it was neutral. Now when this hydrogen came, it came with its own proton. Okay, and it didn't have an electron to balance it. It didn't give any electron. So that shows here. H3O plus shows here, and this is our hydronium ion. Okay, so how you will remember why we get O plus. Let's talk about the next one. Okay, the next one in coordinate covalent bond, and very often they ask you to draw these. So the next one in coordinate covalent bond is ammonia N and 1 1 1, and here is the lone pair, hydrogen hydrogen and hydrogen, duplet duplet duplet, and one octet formation has also happened here. Okay, one octet formation has also happened here. Now what happens is when we add one H to it, okay, when we add one H plus ion to it, it becomes N. Here back same thing. Okay, here we'll draw the same diagram, hydrogen and hydrogen, and what happens is now this hydrogen, which did not have its own electron, it's an ion, it comes and uses these two, this lone pair. Okay, again for this bond, for this single bond between nitrogen and hydrogen, both the electrons have been donated by nitrogen only. Hydrogen didn't have its own electron. Okay, coming to the NH4, this is ammonium. Coming to the charge of ammonium, ammonia NH3 was neutral. Number of electrons was equal to number of protons. Okay, but now what happened? Ammonium, where one hydrogen came and did not bring its own electron but brought its proton, this is what shows. So ammonium is NH4 plus. Okay, so that is how we get a ammonium molecule. Now what we'll do is the difference between electrovalent compounds and covalent compounds. Okay, very interesting differences. So very interesting differences. First thing, electrovalent compounds are made up of ions. I'm not writing full sentences, I have talked about it, and the ions are held together by electrostatic force of attraction. Covalent compounds are formed by consists of molecules. Okay, you get crystalline hard solids. Okay, for this you get crystalline hard solids, and here you get gaseous substances, liquids like covalent compounds like kerosene, diesel, petrol, everything. Okay, gaseous substance or soft solids. Soft solids you can say wax. Okay, wax is a covalent compound. Now, the force of attraction between the ions is electrostatic force. Okay, here we have van der Waals force. Okay, this is the force that exists between molecules. This is the force that exists between ions. Now, this is a weak force. Okay, this is a weak force and this is a strong force. Now, this force is the reason why they have low melting point. You know, wax has a very low melting point and boiling point. This is strong, so high melting point and boiling point. Okay, these are good conductors of heat, good conductors of heat. This is bad conductors. All covalent compounds are bad or even non-conductors, okay, of heat. So in the solid state, they do not conduct electricity. Okay, they do not conduct electricity, but then in the aqueous or molten state, they conduct electricity. Okay, in the aqueous or molten state, they do conduct electricity. Okay, these are completely non-conductors. Now, covalent compounds, anything will not conduct electricity unless they can form ions. So, if they cannot form ions, they will not conduct electricity. Only polar covalent compounds conduct electricity. Okay, so now the next point is soluble. These are soluble in water, soluble in organic solvents. Okay, they are soluble in organic solvents. Now let's come to one very important difference. Okay, all these differences are okay, you'll remember. Here is one difference that I am going to talk about, and this one difference is going to definitely come in your exams. Okay, so if you have reached the video till here, then you will understand the worth of this particular thing that I am going to talk about. Electrovalent compounds undergo dissociation. Okay, this under covalent undergoes ionization. Okay, dissociation and ionization. Now, what is the difference between covalent compounds undergo ionization? Now, what is the difference between these two words? Okay, we need to understand. Ionization. Now, what is the difference between these two things? Dissociation and ionization. Dissociation means separation of ions. okay, of ions, whatever way you are passing electricity, it gets separated. Means NaCl, you have to heat it and melt it, and then it becomes Na plus Cl minus. Okay, ionization on the other hand is, supposing HCl, this is a polar covalent compound, and this becomes in solution. Okay, in solution, when you mix water with it, it becomes H plus Cl minus. Okay, both of them has formed ions, we can see. Okay, and even when this forms ions like that, it can conduct electricity. Here also it has formed ions, but the problem is, here ions were already there. Okay, already existing ions, they only separated. Here it was a molecules, and because of mixing in water, formed ions were formed. That is why the name, in one it is ionization, in covalent it is ionization. Okay, in electrovalent we'll be using the word dissociation. Okay, so now that you have 10 marks of MCQs, this dissociation and ionization becomes very important. Okay, so this is where we are going to stop the video. So I think I have touched on all the important things. Still you have doubts, please write in the comment section. I'll be ready to help you. Do share the video with your friends, and please subscribe the channel for more videos, because lots of more videos are going to come up. After this, I'm going to make videos on periodic table questions and chemical bonding questions. Okay, so on all questions I'm also going to make videos on physics solved examples will also be made. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks all of you. Bye then.